Hello everyone, so this is my first video for the new channel that I'm going to create, where I will be talking about programmation mostly. This will probably be around C++ and probably also a bit of Python and so on, but for this first video I'm going to start a new series concerning my a private project that I've been working on, which are called Nerveland, and this is a repository that I have for this project. In this project the idea is basically to build a game engine. So this is a game engine video series in the end. I don't want to spend this video talking about what we already have in the project, how it's working exactly, what I will be doing on the long term. I just want to jump into coding, and then we'll see how far I can go, what we can do, and what will be the next step for another video. First of all, let's just maybe have a quick look of at what we currently have. So I have custom command line script. Actually, everything here is written in Python for this command line. Interesting. So it's not even working here. Render graph and nil value. Maybe I should start with that. Okay, pausing the video, I'll get back to you in a moment. Okay, actually, I'm on my main development computer here, and on this computer, I think my project was not really up to date, so I'm currently trying to pull all my changes from Git, and we will do a rebuild here. At the same time, I probably can try to run that in another computer where I've been working lately. So let's try to access that. Okay, so this screen is probably visible for you now. Let's start the application from this one. It should work. Okay. That's the current status that we are at in this software or tool or library if you want. I'm just displaying a cube, and I have just implemented a kind of camera controller to be able to rotate around this cube with mouse inputs. This is using SDL as a windowing library, and I have been constructing a Vulkan engine, mostly using the LVE tutorial series so far, so the Little Vulkan engine series. I probably should add a link to that one also, so let me just prepare a small to-do list for this first video. So link to LVE, okay. And yeah, lately I've been considering adding support for an entity component system in my engine. So investigating that, I found the ent library, EMTT, and checking the documentation for ent. I finally found the Cherno tutorial series about creating a video game, a game engine series. So that's where I got the idea of starting to talk about what I'm doing here with my own code and posting that on YouTube. We'll see, maybe this is helpful to someone or maybe not. At least I could use that as a archive of some sort if I need to remember something at some point. Anyway, this is the basic application stage right now, and what should I do next? Good question. I have this target camera controller and I want to have an entity system. I don't really have an entity system yet. So I stopped mimicking a bit what was implemented in the journal game engine tutorial series, and in there he basically started with creating a scene object, and then in each scene he would have a registry to put the actual entities in. So I don't have any better idea, so let's start with that. I'll be creating a scene and I will be using the scene to contain one registry, so there will be one registry per scene. Except that, yeah, I have a few modules here and I don't want to play that into the Vulkan module because to me this is not really Vulkan related. I'm probably going to put that into the core module directly. So in the sources here, what should I do? View, what do I have in view? Yeah, SDL window and so on. So let's start to add a new folder. Let's call that scene, and we'll need a new class. So scene.h. Since I'm a bit lazy, let's try to copy that from somewhere else. Where a little state, for instance. Yep, that should be good enough. Blah blah blah. Okay, copy that. Scene here, paste. Cloning this and this, and here we have a scene. We don't need this definition. Either this and let's replace the class name with scene. Okay, and we need to close. Okay. Okay, C90 is happy with that apparently. Next we need also the implementation file, probably, maybe not. Yeah, probably to implement this. So let's add scene.cpp. Wonderful. Again, being very lazy, let's try to, well, there's nothing to copy. So we need the header file h. Also, usually I try to ensure that I don't have to include the header by default in any common file, so I think I've started to do that, but not so much yet. Yeah, not so much here. So let's just declare this class in the common header, which is included, yeah, in main application afterwards. Okay, next I need to implement the constructor and destructor at least. Doing mostly nothing. Okay. So this is a simple scene object. Next, what should I do? Let me think. Yeah, next step I think is basically in an engine you don't want to have maybe just a single scene. You probably want to have multiple scenes, and you will move from one to another. I don't know, that would be a level or something like that. So I'm thinking I will need probably, not so sure, but yeah, let's assume we needed a scene manager. So a scene manager should be another class, yeah, and it should be what I've been implemented as application components so far. So let's do that. Scene manager. Okay, where do I have another application component example? Yeah, good question. Maybe in the resource manager. Yep. So we'll need app component. Okay. And then what? Declare component instance. Okay, let's do that. Do we need anything special? Not so sure. Oh, this and we probably don't need the other macros. And yes, I think the constructor is included in there, so you don't want to yeah, just don't want to have any constructor or destructor here. So let's remove that. Okay, it's happy now. Let's just have a quick look at this one. Yes, it's preparing an ID, and it's declaring constructor and destructor, and also instance. Okay. Same thing, we need the implementation file. Okay. Manager. Oh yeah, you don't have to define this either manually, I think. So let's just have a look at resource manager. Yes, we'll do this instead. Okay. Okay, is there something else that we absolutely need to define? I don't think so. I don't remember, in fact. But anyway, let's just also declare this. Okay, and next we have the binding generation part. So I also have a full mechanism to generate bindings in Lua, pretty automatically, in fact. So yeah, let's just not go too much in detail in this because it's pretty complex too. But let's try to generate the bindings for those two new classes. So bindings of core include, we need to go into bind context, I believe, and here I need to add the include of interest. So it will be scene and scene manager. Okay, Now let's generate the binding. So yeah, this is taking a couple of minutes normally. It's pretty fast, but there's a lot to bind here, or to rebind every time. Actually, I'm redoing everything. So let's just wait. Okay, binding generation process is supposed to be completed, so let's see what we have, and there is nothing. Cool. How do we explain that? Maybe because I'm a bit too strict. Yes, yeah, I should have thought about that before. The thing is, the generation of the bindings will only be done with some limitations here, because I'm not allowing everything. So let's allow also a class that would be called scene, start with scene, which will also include scene manager, so that should be enough. Now let's rerun the binding process again. Okay, so binding is done, and this time we have more files generated here. So, and we can find indeed this scene binding generation and the scene manager just beneath it, and those new classes are registered as expected, and we also actually generate automatically the library definition for the Lua language server, which is very handy when you work with Lua. So yeah, new classes available here. Let's commit those changes anyway. So adding scene and scene manager. Okay. Now back to Scene Manager. What do we have in this one? The Scene Manager is going to be responsible for creating new scenes and keeping references on those scenes. So what should we have? Should we have a vector or a map of some sort? I don't want to use any string in this engine. So if we decide to use a map, that would be a mapping to string ID. But yeah, we may just as well use a vector of scene and add a name in the scene itself, maybe. Yeah, sounds okay. So protected them. List of available scenes. Okay, do we need the definition of scene here? Nope, not yet. So we can keep it this way, and then we will do just create scene or add scene. Create scene. Yeah, let me think. Yeah, we should probably have something called create scene. So that will return the scene actually. So scene. Oh, what are you typing? As a pointer, and implementation should not be here. So this method will create a new scene. We don't actually really need a name for a scene. We could even just consider maybe using integer identifier. So yeah, no need to provide a name here, I think. But then yeah, you could have a method to get a scene by ID. So auto get scene, the ID should be u int 32 should be fair enough. SID, scene ID, and this should return also a scene or maybe nothing. Yeah, so let's implement those two in the Scene Manager. We'll need access to the scene class now. So let's construct a new scene and store it in our vector. So that would be scene equal in the create ref object of type scene, and it's not taking any argument currently. What should we do then? We can place this back. No, not. Yeah, well, yeah, because just a copy. So yeah, that should work, I think. Then we return the actual pointer. Okay. Get the scene by ID. So we'll need to iterate on all the available scenes. And check the ID that we have. Again, returning just the raw pointer in this case, and if we could not find anything, yeah, I guess we should maybe throw an error, maybe not, I'm not sure yet. So let's say no scene available with ID. ID. Okay, now let's move to the get ID method for this one. So scene again, auto get ID and returning an int 32, int 32. That is probably going to be just an ID field, so we need to store that. ID. Okay, this is already pretty long, so let's pause that until I'm done. Okay, anyway, actually, if I need to have an ID for my scene, I need to find a way to auto increment this ID on construction. So let's do that directly in the scene constructor here. So let's do static next, I mean u int o, u int 32 next scene ID equals 0, and then we store the ID as ID equal should we have a scene number 0? Yeah, I think that's possible. Not new, next. So next scene ID plus plus. Yeah, could use D4 for this one for now. Okay, so now we can get the ID. In the scene manager, we can retrieve the scene with this ID, or throw an error. We can probably also check if we have a scene. So let's say add scene. So auto rule, okay. And we do the same thing, except that we return true or false. Okay, why? Oh yeah, you should return nothing. Okay, so now let's try to build that. Okay, the build was successful. Oh, I have a cat behind the door now. And also we need to update the binding, so let's run bind again. Okay, and now I have the cat here to help me. So yes, binding is done. Let's do a quick check. We have this get ID method now. Okay, and in scene manager we have get scene, add scene, create scene. Okay, so what would be the next step? I need to try that in the Lua test application that I have currently. So let's close everything, get back to this, and let's try to create a new scene just here for the moment. I will get back to this later anyway. Point is, I don't know if I need to register my app component or if I can just create them directly. Let's try that. So scene manager equal in the scene manager instance. I'm not quite sure that this will work. Let's check. It should not be nil. embedded scene manager. Okay. Let's run that. Not so good. Yeah, right. It's not even displaying this error message because it's fading before that. I need to register my scene manager. Where? I don't remember. Let's consider, for instance, so no, let's get back to the application itself. Component, really, no, that's initializing. In an instance, get or create component. Okay. Boom. So what do we have? Yes, so how do we initialize that from Lua? Okay, so I found an example of how I'm supposed to do that. I need to retrieve the instance of the application and manually create my application component and then register my component. In fact, this is what we have here. The register component function here is used to register a new component instead of doing that automatically with those template helper methods, which are unfortunately not available in Lua. I mean, with my binding system currently, at least. So let's try that. Let's first get the app. Do we have access to the app already? I think it could be the case, or maybe it's not the case. Ah, here I was actually registering another component too. Anyway, so let's copy this part. So I get the app, then I create a new scene manager, like that, and I register this. So app, register component, then manager. Okay, oh no. And now if I try to get the instance, it should work. So scene manager equal scene manager instance, and with this instance I should be able to create a new scene object. Create scene, let's call that scene 0, and create another one which we'll call scene 1. Now we can maybe display the I'll just check again, maybe scene 0 get ID should be 0. And for scene 1 it should be 1. Okay. Oh, not quite. Create scene and nil value. Really? That's interesting. Let me think about that a moment. I need to check the bindings. No, not that. Oh no, yeah, sure, makes sense. Nope, doesn't make sense. Scene manager instance should return a scene manager, yes. So what's happening here? Okay, I finally got it. The create scene function here was not available because I had regenerated the bindings here, but after that I forgot to compile the code. So I've now just rebuilt everything, and this time if I run the application, it's working fine, which means that those tests here are passed, which I can confirm actually if I change that to something like 2 and try to run that again. It will fail. Invalid scene ID 0. Yeah. Phew. So I have not done much actually in this video, but it's already way too long. So yeah, let's just stop here, and next time we'll continue with this and see what I should add. Actually, I need to add the registry in the scene. So bye bye everyone, and thanks for watching, and see you another time hopefully. Bye bye.